I'm Brian Quinlan from Indianapolis, Indiana. This is my first time at the Lake of the Ozarks.
The exposure of the Lake of the Ozarks continues to grow on a national and maybe even worldwide level, whether you like it or not. So with that newfound exposure comes many new eyeballs on this magnificent lake. So I thought it would be useful to get the take of a newbie to the lake who only had 24 hours to spend here. That's not a lot of time to cover so much ground, but we made the most of it. So come along for a ride with us, whether you're a seasoned veteran at the lake or you're just interested in learning more about it, and check out a small taste of what the greatest lake on the planet has to offer. First order of business today is take them out on the home course here at Old Kinderhook, and we are 9 holes in. I'm going to say this before I ask Brian's opinion. He says he never plays golf.
I might be over here.
And he's played incredibly well in the front 9. But what is your take on the terrain and this golf course so far?
So from where I live in central Indiana, courses aren't this hilly. That's maybe the biggest challenge I have right now. And this course has everything. You got deep woods, you got deep rough, water, sand traps. Oh my gosh, they're rather deep. And I've been in them way too often. I don't like that.
From a golf perspective, it's hard, but from a beauty perspective.
Man. This is a very nice golf course. Being a realtor, just looking at the homes around here, like, holy crap.
Yeah.
There's some money here at the lake.
Well, yeah, it's funny. And I mentioned, and we're going to get out there later today, I said, you're going to think we live here in poverty in Old Kinderhook when you see some of the homes we're going to look at later.
Well, I've seen some of the videos, so I'm looking forward to seeing some of these in person.
All right, well, let's go tear up the back 9.
All right, I've already started.
So another part of the experience, golfing at the Lake of the Ozarks, specifically at Old Kinderhook, specifically with me, Good Boy Vodka. If you know, you know.
I gotta say, I was looking forward to something being thrown at me from your porch on the 12th hole in the area of Good Boy Vodka, but you were playing with me and there was no one at your house, so.
Part of the problem,
yeah,
yes.
understandable.
That would hurt really bad.
For future reference, you need to set up a cooler on your back porch. So we don't have to drive.
I'd still have to chuck them. But so what did you think? So these are the John Dalys. So if you've never had a John Daly Good Boy Vodka, it's like a seltzer drink, I guess.
Yeah.
But not. They're vodka seltzers, basically.
Not as bubbly as a seltzer.
No. But what's your
super
take?
Tasty. I grabbed the peach iced tea and lemonade.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. It's good stuff.
I've got the blackberry and lemonade. Yeah, this is part of the experience when you come golf with me, when you come hang out with me. We do have a collaboration with Good Boy Vodka, so the refrigerator is typically full.
Oh, excellent.
So let's hammer a few of these and go hammer some golf balls.
Well, it can only get better.
We are approaching the 18 green. Brian, what did you think about your time at Old Kinderhook?
Dude, I'd drive back another 6 hours to play here again. This is a great place. Beautiful golf course, and for somebody who is an average golfer, it is a good challenge. It's not overly hard by any means, and well kept, and good company, good beverages.
How about that?
I mean, come on.
It's a public course, I would argue, and you know this, I'm not just biased, it's the best course, the Lake of the Ozarks. So when you come to golf, the Lake of the Ozarks, Old Kinderhook's the place to be.
I would agree, but I don't have any reference.
Next stop, the water.
Yeah!
You're supposed to only drink these when you birdie. So we're drinking them post-round.
That's right. There were no birdies, but now we're post-round. So they made the trip mandate. Let's go.
Second leg of the visit to the Lake of the Ozarks. And let me preface this by saying we're in June. It's a Monday. Of course, the Lake of the Ozarks gets a bad rap for being so busy. Well, you're going to see what it's like the majority of the time here. It is busy.
I don't see another
weekends.
boat anywhere.
You may not see many boats out here today. It's a beautiful day on a Monday. It's Brian's first experience at the lake. Now, when you come to the Lake of the Ozarks, you already know, if you follow, that I tell you, there's a lot more to do than just being on the lake. However, if you're coming here between Memorial and Labor Day, and really before or after, close, anytime it's warm, you really want to try to make it on the lake, if possible, whether that means a friend with a boat, renting a boat, or you have your own boat. And then just understanding where to go on the lake. And that's what we're going to explore today. We are starting down here, as you know, I live in Old Kinderhook, so that is roughly the 12-mile marker of the Big Niangua. We're going to head up the Big Niangua into the main channel, and maybe stop at a bar or two along the way.
Yeah, we are. That's happening.
Okay, that's happening. We're gonna show Brian some real estate, some lake real estate. We'll show you too from the water. We're gonna pop into some of what are there many millionaire coves here at the Lake of the Ozarks.
Excellent.
And just give Brian a taste of what it's like to boat here at the lake. So Brian, we golfed this morning. We're taking off on the boat now. By the way, a boat is
There's
coming
another
at
boat.
us. How about that? What do you think, buddy? What do you think about? We're just launching.
So now, what I don't know is I've seen a map of Lake of the Ozarks, and it's obviously massive. Like, what do I see here in terms of, I don't know, mileage, distance? Like, how much of this lake am I seeing right now?
Oh gosh. Well, there's 92 miles of the main channel. We're not on the main channel. We're on the Niangua arm of the Lake of the Ozarks. The Niangua arm in and of itself is about 18 miles.
Okay.
That's how big this lake is. And there's a bunch of arms like our arm. So all told, there's well into the 130s, maybe 140s worth of miles of this lake. I've been here since 2012 and have probably only touched about 30% of this lake.
Wow.
Yeah. It's that big.
You got work to do.
It's that big. More shoreline, as everybody knows, than the state of California.
Oh, actually, everyone doesn't know that. I had
You
no
didn't
idea.
know that?
No?
Yeah, that is a common data point that people reference.
Huh.
This is well, it's a reservoir. First of all, let's be very clear. It's a flooded rivers. It was to create electricity. This
Okay.
lake is owned by Ameren, who is the electric provider in the state of Missouri.
Interesting.
Yeah.
Where does Jason Bateman live? Where is Marty's?
We will point
house?
out a variety of potential options
Okay.
that could be his. But
I heard Brad Pitt used to live here.
we just passed a
Oh,
potential house. That's right there. Yeah, right there.
Very nice place.
If you're familiar with the show Ozark, to answer your question, if we were placing where they were in that show, it would be in the higher mile markers. Because remember, that wasn't shot here. It was shot at Lake Lanier in Georgia.
No, I had no idea.
You didn't know that either?
I didn't assume it was shot here,
Yeah, it
but
wasn't shot here.
no idea.
But they depicted ruraler part of the lake, which
Okay.
what I would say would be between the 50 and 80 mile marker.
Gotcha.
Quieter part. The only shots in the show Ozark that were from the Lake of the Ozarks were drone shots. That's it.
Huh.
Nothing was shot here. Now Jason Bateman did come here, do a ton of research. His stamp has been left here. He's got autographed pictures in a lot of different bars. But other than that, no.
Okay.
There's film credits in Georgia. That's why they shoot films in Georgia.
Gotcha. You know, it's apparently cheaper to shoot elsewhere.
Evidently.
So I'm excited to see these $1 million homes, you know, because I've seen your videos and now being able to see some of these in person, I'm pretty stoked.
Let's give it some gas and we'll go check it out.
Let's go.
All right, we are approaching the main channel, which is the 31 mile marker of the Lake of the Ozarks main channel. And I've been educating Brian as we're coming on a lot more boats. There are a bunch of boats out
definitely.
today. There's people that we just passed Cave. So the 4 mile marker of the Big Niangua, there's people there. One thing that we've been talking about is what makes the Lake of the Ozarks so different, which is how much access you have as an individual homeowner to build right on the water.
I am shocked at how close these homes are to the water.
Literally in some cases on the water. And you can have your own private dock, which if you're not familiar with the lakes across the United States and you think about big lakes, Lake Havasu, Lake Table Rock, which isn't far from here, they're all core lakes. And for that reason, a lot of people love them because they're quiet. But those lakes are a dime a dozen. They're everywhere. You can go to Minnesota, take your pick. What you can't get in a lake like this is the ability to build a house on the lake at whatever depth you want, have your own private dock on the lake. And as I mentioned to Brian, there's probably, I don't have an exact number, at least 30 lake bars on the Lake of the Ozarks.
We're not visiting all of them, are we?
I don't think we have enough time in the day to do that. And that is just something you don't get at really any other lake in the United States or in the world. And so when you say the Lake of the Ozarks is...
We just passed by a cruise ship? What the hell?
No, that was probably about a 40. So yeah, that's a good example. That was about a 45 footer maybe, kicking out a pretty big wake. Now, if I wasn't filming right now, we would have cut through that and it would have gone a lot smoother. But since we're filming, I'm going
It's all
slow.
good.
But yeah, that's another experience here at the lake. You could come here, get out on a boat, do nothing, and just sightsee, and you would be entertained for hours.
I agree.
All right, so we're approaching the main channel. We decided we are going to go have lunch at Paradise. Very popular spot. Sits up high, one of the best viewing spots for boat watching at the Lake of the Ozarks. So our next check-in will be from Paradise. Top deck paradise, as you can see here with these best views at a bar at the Lake of the Ozarks. Brian, your first visit to a bar at the Lake of the Ozarks, what was your take?
I'd find it hard to not want to go, to want to go anywhere else. Because truly, pull your boat up here, and you've got several levels of eating. You got this awesome bar right here with some large television. This is a cool vibe, and there's only not a ton of people here on a Monday afternoon. It's Monday, right?
Yeah.
But I would imagine on a weekend, this place is just hopping.
Yeah.
And so this would be a really cool place to hang out.
For those of you that are like Brian and don't know any better, every bar on the lake has a spot to pull up your boats to. So this isn't abnormal, but this is one of the most unique bars because of the way it sits high. It's where I come to watch boats during the shootout week because, as you can imagine, this is a bend right here, and you got go fast boats just rearing around this corner.
Pretty awesome.
Yeah, it is. It's an incredible time. The food's good.
I bet it's packed
good
here during shootout time.
It's packed all the time. This is a popular spot. This is a great spot. This is about the 23-ish mile marker of the main channel. If you come to the Lake of the Ozarks, and you can easily get here by car, it's over in Sunrise Beach. Come check out Paradise. It's one of many bars at the lake, but it's one of the biggest.
10 out of 10 recommend. Food was good. Drinks were good. Just, servers here we talked to, super friendly.
All right.
So, yeah, that's a cool place.
I got to go take you to check out at least one more spot.
Yeah, I'm in.
All right, we'll go. All right, Brian, we left Paradise. We came up the Sunrise Beach side of the main channel, which, if you're familiar with the lake, is pretty povertous.
I think you have the wrong word.
If you're familiar, we are at roughly the 20-mile marker right now as we make our way towards the Grand Glaze Bridge area, and we're popping in and out of these coves over here. Brian, you describe it to the audience.
So this is the reason that Lake of the Ozarks has a reputation of being for millionaires, because these homes are incredible. And hell, all we're getting is an outside view. In most cases, the backyard view. They're amazing. The amount of money in stonework and windows in these communities is immense, and I'm super impressed. And again, how close to the water that they are.
Yeah. Also, I mean, yeah, actually, in some of these docks, for those of you that aren't familiar, a lot of these docks are on the low end. What you're maybe seeing behind us here, a couple $100,000 docks. That's relatively inexpensive for what we're seeing. Some of these docks, you can get them for less than that. But a dock with maybe 2 boat slips and a couple sea-doos, maybe a bar, a seating area, that's going to run you a couple $100,000. Whereas some of these docks we're seeing, in some cases, they've been bigger than the houses.
Yeah.
And you're probably
and covered in copper.
Easily $500,000. Now, you did mention something to me earlier as we were making our way up here, and you were surprised at how many small homes.
For real. You know, being a realtor, it would seem to me that there are affordable homes here. I didn't honestly have much of a background of Lake of the Ozarks before coming out here. I knew I would see this kind of stuff, but number one, the size of the lake is huge. And so you obviously have different communities here and there. But, you know, a good portion of our drive here had homes that I would call affordable. And, you know, they're modest. They're probably, 2,500, 3,000 square feet.
There's probably 1,500,000 square foot homes. Plenty of them. Tons of them.
Yeah. And, you're paying for, in certain cases, the view. So you're going to have a lake premium in certain cases. But the home itself, I would assume, is pretty reasonably priced.
Relatively speaking.
Now, the downside to what we're seeing here in all of these coves with the multi-million-dollar homes is how many of these people probably don't live here full time.
Well,
and they just sit here for months and months with no use whatsoever. It's so disappointing.
Well, if you're familiar with like a Naples, Florida, and if you've ever been on a boat cruise down there and you actually take a tour, they will tell you that people, the wealth that is in places like that come 2 weeks out of the year. And those are $20 million homes. These are just a few $1 million homes. But that is what wealth is.
I would feel a bit gypped if I spent millions of dollars on a home that I only visited a couple times a year.
When you got that kind of money, it doesn't matter.
Yeah, I suppose.
It's another thing that as we make our way to a second destination, that if you get the chance to do, and you like looking at real estate, and you like gawking specifically at real estate, make your way over to roughly between Paradise, so up the 23-mile marker, all the way up to the toll bridge and maybe even past that. And you will see more $1 million, probably the biggest concentration of $1 million homes in the Midwest. I would argue.
I would have a hard time arguing with that.
All right, well, we're on to the next bar.
Carry on.
Well, if you recognize the place behind us, you'll know that we are just now departing Dog Days up on the 19-mile marker right off the Grand Glazed Bridge, which is also the new home of the Shootout.
Oh,
Brian, what'd you think about your second lake
dude,
bar?
I feel if I lived closer, I could make this a regular hangout.
Dog Days.
Dog Days specifically. I love, while we didn't go in the pool, I love the idea of a pool where you're just standing around drinking with tables inside the water. Swim up bar. That calls to me. There are so many levels to that place. You got the dog pound patio thing up top. You got 2 covered bars. You got the adult pool with the bar. You got a kids pool.
Yep.
Very family friendly.
Yep.
Dog friendly. And heck, they even have an inside restaurant. So
live music too on a Monday.
Yeah, that's right. A Monday afternoon.
Brian,
a great vibe on a Monday. I mean, I think that tells you something about a place.
Yeah, I would agree. That's the lake in the summer. And Brian made the comment, I really like this place. I said, I had a feeling I could take you to 30 bars and you'd say the same thing.
I feel that's probably the case, yes.
And the thing is we've barely touched, and I don't know if you were a math teacher. Were you a math teacher?
I was.
Okay, so let's do some quick math.
Oh, boy.
Brian. Let's say we went from the 12 of the Niangua up to so we went 12 miles of the Niangua, and then we're up here on the we went up to about the 17 to 31. So what's 17 to 31?
14.
That's 14. 14 plus 12 is 26.
It is.
26 divided by, let's just say 150 miles.
Oh, that's probably like, I don't know, 15 to 20%-ish.
I think you're right. That's how much of the lake that we covered.
That's it?
We hit, yeah.
I feel like we've been boating forever.
We hit 2 bars. That's it. Just 2 bars.
We're gonna
hit a third for dinner over by Old Kinderhook by golf cart. But I think that's a testament to how much there is to do here. You have barely scratched the surface.
No kidding. That's a cool place. I see why you like it.
So we're gonna head back. We're gonna get some more. We're gonna check out some more big ass homes on the main channel.
Look forward to that.
And check back in for what we're gonna do tonight.
Excellent.
All right, so we just got off the boat after, gosh, what, about 6.5 hours out on the water, maybe?
Wow, really? Okay.
I think so.
Good day on the lake. I had no idea.
18 holes this morning.
Whew, been a day.
Long day on the water, and now we are back at Old Kinderhook. As you can tell, we are in the golf cart, and we are heading to one of the 2 local restaurants to the Kinderhook neighborhood.
Excellent.
You know that the trophy room is in Old Kinderhook. There is another restaurant that is just out the back gate called Pebble Bay. Pebble Bay is known for its barbecue. It is on the water here on the Big Niangua, so about the probably 14-mile marker, and relatively new. It's only less than 2 years old. They've got pickleball courts. They've got bags.
It's called cornhole.
Cornhole, whatever. I mean, is that an Indiana thing?
Yes.
Well, you're at the lake.
Bags. It's
You're
not
at the
called
lake.
bags
You're in
anywhere.
Missouri. You're in Missouri.
Ridiculous.
Well, we are going to treat Brian to yet another Lake of the Ozarks establishment, see what he thinks, and we'll report back.
I'm here for it.
Brian, number 3 destination is in the books. Tell the viewers what you got to eat.
I had pulled pork sandwich with fries. It was quality, man. I don't care for a pulled pork sandwich that is like oozing barbecue sauce out of it. And this was not that. It was a good sauce, good taste. Not I don't like spicy food, so it wasn't spicy. Yeah, overall, I'd give it a solid 8.
Yeah. What'd you think about the
vibe over there is nice. You know, it's quiet Monday here, but there's a lot to do there. Great family joint. There's some kids, running around throwing balls. The cornhole
bags?
Nope, the cornhole boards. At least one stage there set up for some live music. So I'm sure that's a cool place to go.
Yep.
Yeah, man, that's a cool place.
It's a good spot. If you haven't been there, you should check it out. So we decided we might as well go get a nightcap at the trophy room. We might as well take Brian to one last place.
That's correct.
So when you live in a resort community like we do here, we might as well go patronize the last place, then call it a night and move to the deck.
Okay.
And listen to the whippoorwills, and you can watch me smoke a cigar.
Oh, that sounds great.
Well, Brian, we are back at the humble abode. What you can't see,
Pitch dark.
because neither can we, is a pitch black golf course and quiet.
Oh man, it is so quiet here.
Timing is impeccable.
If you heard that, that was
Oh my God.
that was our French bulldog Louis hacking up something.
That's a great outtake right there.
So, took you over to the trophy room to have a cocktail. What did you think of that venue?
Okay, so lodge feel, a lot of, big timber, tall ceiling, kind of a cozy lodge vibe to it. Then you walk into the bar and it's kind of your old school golf clubhouse feel.
Yeah.
I don't know if they were leather seats on the benches in there or whatever, but I just kind of got the feel, it's
Country
kind of
club feel.
Oh, yeah, exactly. Yeah, that's what I was thinking of.
And it's not. It is and it isn't. It's a public course. Trophy room's obviously a public restaurant. There are members here. I'm one of them. It's more vacationers.
Okay.
Golfers that come in, staying here. And obviously us homeowners, but yeah, it's cool. If you've never been to the trophy room, it's one of the higher end restaurants at the lake. Obviously, we didn't have a meal, you didn't look at the menu, but
Now, I'll say, when we were on the golf course today, we got to see the outside of it, right by the pool, I believe, and the tee box and the sand volleyball area. Yeah, that would be a very cool summer hangout spot.
Yeah, this is a great spot. It's a great place for vacation. It's just Old Kinderhook. You've experienced, gosh, again, we established 15%
Right.
of the lake, and that's just the lake because there's so much to do off the lake. What is your take as a first-time visitor?
I'd like to come back. Knowing the people that I hang out with, they would love coming here, getting a boat, going bar to bar, and just having a good time. And we're not, some of them might be, water skiers or fast boat kind of people, but we're good to go out on the pontoon and just float and have some beverages and visit with people. So this seems like a pretty fun place to do that.
Yeah.
And, the golf course is nice too.
Golf course is awesome. Yeah. What was your expectation of the lake from a size?
I've been on some decent sized lakes. This seemed massive to me today. When we were, number one, I didn't realize we had been out for 6 hours. But I do know that while coming back from however far we had gotten, I was like, man, are we there yet? And it's just so immense. Long, super wide.
Only 26 miles.
Pardon?
That was only 26 miles.
I know. Yeah. But, you got long stretches. You got
I say
wide fairways.
I say only 26 miles. But when you think about lakes, most lakes are judged by acreage.
Yeah.
This is hundreds of miles.
Yeah. I do think about what I didn't see today. I'm sure, that list is pretty endless. So,
as I've mentioned, I've been here since 2012, and we've probably only seen 30 to 40% of the lake. It's so big. It's just, yeah.
I've heard somebody say it's the greatest lake in the world.
Zoom in on that. It is. It is in the perspective that you will not find another lake like this one. That I can promise you. And that is the message that I like to get across to people, is that local Missourians that are non-Lake of the Ozarkers tend to throw shade and hate at this lake. And they throw hate at it because of, as you witnessed today, the size. There was a few 50-foot boats out today.
Yeah.
And they were pushing out wake. And that's what people like to complain about. You saw go-fast boats flying by. We probably saw a couple going 70, 80, 90 miles an hour today. And people hate that. And it's like, listen, it's you don't have to like it. Go. There's hundreds of thousands of other lakes you can go to. 10,000 in Minnesota, 10,000 in Wisconsin. And but if you want something that has literally something for everything and so much to do, which most lakes don't have. Most lakes have just chill.
Curious what my thought would be had I been here on a busy day. Because you had mentioned if we were out there on a busy day, the boating experience would not have been the same. It would be a lot more bouncing.
Going up the main channel, yes.
Yeah.
Down here, it's okay.
Sure.
But going up the main channel, going where we went today, which for those of you that are Lakers, we went all the way to the toll bridge from Old Kinderhook. So you know what that means. That's a long ways.
Yeah. And I'll be honest, I like boats, but I probably would not enjoy that bouncing boat experience.
Yeah.
So, I may have a different opinion at that point. But then again, maybe you're just not going as far on a day like that because you got a lot more traffic, get a lot more wave action, and that's okay too.
Yeah, we wouldn't have. Last thing I will say, and I haven't told my wife this yet, but I said, and I think I mentioned this to you, as we were driving back today, that was one of the most calm, peaceful, smooth rides and we covered 26 miles. That was incredible. And that validates to me why I live here, because that's when I want to spend time on this lake. It was awesome.
It was a cool experience.
Well, I hope you enjoyed this one. This is a perspective from somebody who's never been here before, who doesn't care much for lakes.
Not a huge water guy.
Not a water person. Not a boating
I'm
person.
more of a pool guy.
And you got to experience it. If last question, if you had to, now knowing what you know, knowing what you've seen from my content, if there's one thing that we didn't do today, which we barely again scratched the surface, what is it that you would absolutely want to do the next time you're here?
Being here gives me vacation vibes, and one of the things I like to do on vacation is go miniature golfing.
Huh.
So wouldn't shock me if somewhere around here is a pretty cool miniature golf course or two, which I would find entertaining.
And fascinating selection from the
I know
50-plus-year-old
I know. It's just something I enjoy doing, and to me that's a vacation thing that we do. So we also did not find an ice cream shop.
Oh yeah, they're around.
I'm sure they are. Well,
but we didn't get out on the street. We didn't go by car anywhere.
I know. Well, something I'll have to do.
Okay, good. I like that. All right. Well, thanks for being here, buddy.
Hey, thank you, man.
Okay.